Hi Aries, I have a message for you. We're going to go ahead and get started. Let's just pick one for the overall energy. We're going to clarify with tarot as well. Remember that I am reading for a collective, for a large group, so if it doesn't apply, it's no problem. It is a really good way to learn symbolism though, to get a bit more understanding, the perfection of your life and receiving. There's been a lot of receiving going on over here, I'm saying. It's been very interesting. Everything that is coming up is about receiving and kind of taking away from the push, push, push. The message I'm getting right off the bat, Aries, ooh, your guides are coming in, which is interesting because basically they're saying, wow, this is a beautiful message. If you don't leave any room for your team and your guides to come in and work with you, you're going to be limited by your own dreams. And what they have planned for you is so much bigger than your logical thought process. The perfection of your life. And it's a 30, which is a 3, which is communication and cooperation, co-creation with spirit. All right. Wow, Aries. This is nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and clarify that a little bit. Ooh, the sun on the bottom. This is exciting. I just did another reading a few minutes ago and it was kind of rough. It was not this energy at all. This is very, well, it feels really fiery, Aries. That's one thing I can say. But this seems like Spirit wants you to allow instead of having to do all the work, which I think sounds lovely. The 3 of Cups, yes, communication from Spirit, co-creation with Spirit, celebration with your team, with your community, with those around you. And look, the sun is on the bottom again. I'm going to leave that out. After I shuffled and shuffled and shuffled. Aries, y'all are on fire today. This is killer. Okay, let's get to the next category. We're going to look at what you can't see or what may be hidden. Interesting. So what is hidden? What cannot be seen for Aries? Community. This is what I was just saying. This co-creation, this celebration with others, with your team, with spirit, with your new community that's either formed or is forming. Trickery on the bottom. So I'm hearing, make sure you show up. Make sure you show up. If you're trying to form this new community, it's trying to find you. There is alignment that is happening there. But if you don't leave your house, if you don't go out, if you don't meet people, if you don't do any of these things, was this opportunity on the bottom? Yeah, the opportunity can kind of pass you by. It's not that it won't reappear, but it's here. This is really interesting. Let's look at that a little bit. So tell me about this community. End of the cycle, 10. Anytime anything ends, something starts over. Tell me about this community. What cannot be seen? The 9 of Wands and the Lovers on the bottom. So the Lovers is actually, it's not always about love. It's about making a choice, making a hard decision, making a choice. And it's like, this is showing, I mean, maybe you've really been beat up. You've been through a lot, but look, you're still standing. So you still want, right? This is like this. I'm not saying this is exactly you, but for an example, this is a person that's been like burned by love 100 times, but still wants love, but is too afraid to try. Or the person that, you know, has tried to find their community over and over and it's never quite working out. And they're still up for it, but they're just very, very, very cautious. And I think this is why Spirit is saying, don't push too much and don't put your own mind stuff on it, because then it's harder for Spirit to work out these opportunities of community here. This could be work, this could be creative project, it could be any of those things, a new living situation. Okay, so now what can be learned? Let's see here. What can be learned? It's interesting because I see truth and courage. Truth is coming out over and over and over. Relaxation on the bottom in reverse. The relaxation in reverse is pointing to the fact of you trying. It's like you're digging the hole and digging the hole and digging the hole to get the water, but it's like Spirit is saying, but it's gonna rain if you just go chill out for a second, right? And I feel like for you to be receptive, it actually would take a good amount of courage. I love you and take this very gently, what I'm about to say. But often, if we are somebody that pushes, it's because if we can control things and make sure everything is done properly or right, then we don't have that emotional component of disappointment or any of those things. So Spirit may be trying to get you to lighten up on that so you can have a little bit more co-creation. Okay, let's see where you can find support. Let's see. That's interesting. This seems like a weird deck to use, but that's what I hear. That's what I hear. So some of the advice you might be getting, as it might come up as your own ideas, intuition, a yearning from deep inside yourself. It's probably Spirit trying to help. Observe in silence. That's interesting. So there's something called seek your answers within, observe in silence. So Spirit really is trying to work with you on this new start, but they want you to start it in from a less wounded place, from a place that accepts more help, that expects greater ease. That's what I'm hearing. You should expect greater ease. Hope everybody's okay, right? So here we have this observe in silence, and at the beginning we had that trickery, which trickery often comes up in the fox. See? There's something called mauna, and mauna is the practice of silence. The reason that some mystics or seekers may practice mauna is to lengthen the time, in part, there's a lot of reasons, but what applies here is to lengthen the time from when the thought pops up to when we speak on it, right? It's like, do you ever put your foot in your mouth? This is part of training the quickness of the mind and the reactivity to soften. This is about becoming more receptive. You know, the high priestess doesn't speak. The high priestess observes. Tell me about this observe in silence. What about this fox? Temperance. Yeah, Spirit wants you to stop pushing, doing, controlling, right? And start to have more of this equal give and take. A bit of a push and a pull. Co-cooperation. But this is from Spirit, right? Okay, so what's the current challenge here then? What can we let go of? I mean, I feel like the whole reading is telling you what to let go of, but this is what I'm being asked. Raga. Okay, so this just keeps pointing to this attachment to everything being done a certain way and controlled a certain way. Okay, I'm being asked to pull a chakra card, so maybe there's something going on there that keeps bringing you to that energy. It's the base chakra in reverse, exactly. Okay, so the first chakra talks about power, about tribal power, about being in charge. It talks about safety, it's security. It deals with the muscular system, the skeletal system, the knees, the shins, the ankles, the feet. It deals with that which connects us to the world, to our everyday life. Spirit needs you to get above this. Spirit needs you to trust that you are 11:11 on the clock, safe and secure. If you've never done your natal chart, I would recommend go ahead and do that. It is free online, a million places. And what you should really look at is not only your sun, but your moon, your ascendant, if you care about relationships, maybe Venus, but more so look at the placement of everything and how the planets treat each other, what your aspects are. Okay. Aries, this deals with your first house, personality, worldly outlook, self-interest, your disposition in the world. You have an opportunity right now. See, the first house is also really related to gestation, essentially. And your first chakra was formed in utero. I don't know how you feel about your mother, your father. It's not about that really. But some of the things that you are acting on, this control aspect, this kind of woundedness, isn't even your karma. I do believe it was started in utero. And it's something that you act on without even thinking about it. So by observing the silence, lengthening your reactivity to when something annoys you, and then when you talk about it or make a decision or put that energy out into the world, will be super, super beneficial for you currently. Okay. Last card here. Any advice for Aries? It's probably coming up now heavy with this end of the cycle over here. Domestic harmony, surrender. Oh, surrender. I never knew an Aries that liked to surrender, but that is the advice. There is something about with this tempering of the emotionality, and I'm hearing the quickness of your words, which I'm going to tell you is my favorite part of an Aries, because they can always tell me exactly where I stand. There can be and will be this domestic harmony. And look, they're both 10s, and they both deal with this idea of relationships. Relationship between you and probably your parental structure, you and your higher self, you and your loved ones, and you and your community. Something big is changing here, and I really hope this was helpful. Love y'all so much.